Part 19 of exposing a Pisces energy trying extremely hard to fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously destiny swap with me, entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. I am not at all jealous if any Pisces is, ever has been, and or ever will be dating and or otherwise romantically and or sexually involved with anyone that isn't me. I do not at all want any kind of romantic and or sexual connection with any Pisces. I do not at all want to meet, see, and or at all communicate and or otherwise interact with any Pisces. They're trying to force me to forget any relationship I actually want. No, it's never happening. They're trying to leave me permanently, brutally, irrecoverably heartbroken, hurt, depleted, and looking extremely undignified and unworthy of any real trust, respect, love, or even general decency from others. I've shut them out and they're butthurt, and I couldn't care less, and I never will. They are a copycat. They're intentionally, almost maliciously trying to cause chaos and confusion around if I was caught cheating on someone and possibly claiming I said it was with them. They're doing it to hide that I've never truly wanted any sexual intimacy with them whatsoever. They're a backstabber and unworthy of trust. They will betray you every chance they could get. They're trying to make me look extremely emotionally unintelligent, as if I have no idea that they're how they are. They're trying to keep me a secret from others, or the reality of our connection or lack thereof a secret, and trying to make me look like the one trying to keep secrets. And they're trying to act like I'm trying to be romantic in doing so, and or that I see them behaving like that as somehow romantic, while in reality that's not, never has been, and never will be at all my intent, and I do not, never have, and never will at all interpret what they're doing in that aspect as at all romantic either. They're trying to cause total drama in my life if I allow their energy into my life. They like to put on a show. For some reason, they're fucked up over me, and they're extremely desperate to make it look like I'm fucked up over them too. They're extremely desperate to make it seem like I care if they ever cut me off. I do not at all. They're extremely desperate to make it seem like they've crushed my ego. Ego they don't even understand or care never existed. They're trying to act like I'm fighting for what I love somehow, as if to be trying to strengthen my bond with them, when in reality I'm seriously trying to push them away completely. I most certainly am not trying to claim them as mine at all, and I will never allow them to claim me as theirs at all. They're trying to destroy my reputation. They're trying to break me. They're trying to completely ruin me, and their tactics won't work. I never thought that I was going to fulfill a fantasy with any Pisces. I am not at all enjoying any gossip or similar that I'm being forced to suffer through hearing through this massive jackass violating my energy. I never thought I was going to have a love story with any Pisces. They are extremely desperately trying to make it seem like I'm not truly, fully, confidently, unwaveringly, irrecoverably, completely rejecting any and all attempts they might ever make to at all portray otherwise. I am not at all insecure over any Pisces. I'm simply returning to sender and giving karma to this jackass trying to cause all these dramas and problems in my life constantly, which they absolutely know they're doing entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. They're trying to act like I knew they don't want me and yet would try to get a room with them. Not at all. They're a massive fraud. Who's the one that clearly is extremely obsessively stalking and harassing me spiritually and trying to force their way into my life, constantly acting like I want to talk to them and apologize to them and all this shit, despite knowing that I clearly do not want them at all? I don't see any Pisces even as a friend at all. And I've never even tried recording any Pisces in any kind of friendly context. I have never and do not attribute any credit for my independence, creativity, creative power, confidence, openness to opportunities, ability to adapt to change, or anything at all good or that I actually want or prefer in my life or that I possess or have prospects of possessing to them at all. They've always been trying to be a massive and complete weakness in my life, bringing delays, trying to trap me into having unrealistic goals. They're trying to put off making a decision in our connection, which is reflective of them being extremely selfish. And they're doing it because they're trying to completely steal any luck I have and make it look like the tables have turned constantly in their favor because they're fully, knowingly, completely lying that I'm somehow putting off making a decision in the connection when in reality I'm not at all. And they in reality fully know that. They're trying to steal my prospects at fast growth. They're hoping destroying me will be a lucky turn for them, where doors will open for them, while they shut them for me and leave me in deep despair and complete lack of luck. They're trying to act like it's karma I deserve to have to suffer because of how I treated them, when in reality they are the one that deserves karma for how they've treated me. I've never been trying to gamble with the divine through any Pisces, or anyone in general for that matter. This Pisces definitely was, though, and they lost that gamble and are trying to make me a complete loser at life because they're extremely desperate to cover it up. I'm not at all in sadness for losing any Pisces out of my life. I have never at all considered any Pisces my soulmate. I've never felt true love from any Pisces. They typically have difficulties in relationships, which are entirely their fault to the point they even might feel like self-harming themselves at this point because of how horrible they are. I've never at all felt like self-harming myself out of any difficulties in relationships that I've ever at all actually caused myself. They're trying to mess around with the perception of my sensitivity. They've always been trying to wait around until if I overcame the worst obstacles I could ever possibly have in life, for them to then after try to force their way back in and extremely disingenuously seek forgiveness from me. I am not at all seeking forgiveness for anything from any Pisces. There's no kind of any requirement that any Pisces at all from my past can ever fulfill to convince me at all to allow them back in my energy at all. They're trying to completely falsify some kind of requirements, perhaps especially related to morality, to steal my spiritual gifts entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. They're completely falsely trying to act like my physical elevation is them somehow making progress morally and or spiritually. They're trying to call our connection pure when I don't know or care for even attempting to figure out what they're trying to communicate with that exactly. I certainly don't see it as being done with sincere intentions. I do not at all feel lonely due to not having any Pisces in my life. They're intentionally, almost maliciously, trying to cause chaos and confusion around if me and or them are now possibly seeking advice from other people on how to be obedient and how to come in properly because of coming in from an unorthodox approach all the time. I am not at all seeking any advice from anyone on how to be obedient towards any Pisces for any reason, and I don't see any particular reason to believe I ever will be. And I couldn't care less whether any Pisces now wants to be obedient somehow to me or not. I do not at all care if any Pisces does or doesn't believe in marriage or if they're going through childhood traumas or anything else. I do not at all want to be married to them, and I never have. Any stubbornness I ever have related to marriage, it will never be at all changed by any Pisces. They're unapologetically trying to leave me overloaded with the connection ending or all the problems in whatever connection we had, and making it seem like it's an insurmountably heavy responsibility and burden on me by trying to force me to never be able to truly put it down and just move forward with my life. They're trying to leave me trapped in that state through things that are often almost, if not fully, complete nonsense in reality, and overall just being a massive nuisance in my life. They have been intentionally, almost maliciously, trying to cause extreme delays for me because they've been denying an unwanted change in their life that would result from completely losing access to me and my energy. And they've been completely falsely portraying me as seeing losing them being somehow an unwanted change, while in reality they fully knew all along that I'd actually very much want it. They're trying to warp what my disillusionments are or should be to force on me to experience some kind of loss they're completely falsifying I want, need, and or somehow deserve to experience. They're trying to act like that loss is self-inflicted by me because I supposedly needed it to start going in a new direction. Especially because they've been trying to frame it as an important change for me because I've supposedly been being extremely sneaky and skillful with cheating on them somehow, while knowing it's literally not even possible for me to cheat on them at all. They can't handle the fully valid criticism I'd give them. And they're intentionally, almost maliciously, trying to cause chaos and confusion around if I might be doing some kind of commercial fraud where sloppiness on my end might have gotten me caught somehow. I have never been doing such at all, and there's absolutely no real evidence to prove otherwise at all. They're literally trying to evade reality because they think they can compete with anyone by exploiting my energy in how they try to go against the crowd. They want me in depression and lack of energy. They've intentionally, almost maliciously, been trying to cause chaos and confusion around if I might have to change jobs because they're in reality trying to sabotage it for me and just make it seem like I didn't ever really deserve for it to work out in my favor. They try to force me into positions where I need to rest, or people think I'm resting even when I'm really not, while they continue to attack me. I'm not at all reassessing what I want in connections, but they probably need to and are trying to force me to. They've had some kind of love affair, kept secrets from me whenever we might have been actually connected in the physical, if ever, and were being extremely fake to me the entire time, if so. They have been extremely egregiously abusing my energy to try to permanently use me as some kind of anchor to keep together their life filled with lies. They're contradicting themselves and refusing to take accountability. They're not facing reality. They've been spreading petty rumors about me while making me seem like the type to do that. They're extremely desperate for me wanting some kind of clarity or closure from them, while they know I just want them completely out of my energy and out of my life permanently. They want to hide that me cutting them off makes them extremely obsessively stalk me. They've always been trying to make me look like I'm somehow voluntarily attached to them and not single, while in reality, they fully knew all along that I'm very much single and not at all voluntarily attached to them. They've been trying to completely restrict me from ever being free to date anyone, especially anyone I actually want. And anytime I actually get close to making it evident I actually want to date someone that I actually want, they try to make it seem like I'm extremely fake and a horrible person and lying and have ulterior motives and just don't want to date at all in general. They want to ghost me and make me feel invisible if they cut me off. They want me to feel completely empty and absolutely devastated without them in my life, and then for me to suddenly see them as some kind of savior and come desperately crawling back to them. And they fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously want to make it seem like I've had some kind of insane plot to do that to them all along. I do not at all feel lost without any Pisces in my life. I do not at all want any kind of second chance with any Pisces. I do not at all consider any Pisces a life partner. I do not at all have any desire to go on any kind of trip with any Pisces. They don't understand what they let slip through their fingers when they chose to betray me how they have. And I don't care if they ever do anymore. Whoever they are, they're definitely extremely replaceable to me. And they always were. And they fully know it. In reality, they always did. I do not want or have any willingness to accept any prayers from or on behalf of any Pisces. I do not consider any Pisces family. They've always been leaving me fighting for my life to help their entire fucking family hold on to faith when fear feels stronger. Well, their whole family obviously except me, if they even at all ever considered me family, when they've been fighting for their life. Extremely egregiously divination abusing to get strength where they don't currently have it. They want to completely steal from me any healing where there is pain, patience where there is panic, light where the darkness feels endless, and sense or even reminder of a sense of control in life when things feel at all uncertain. They want to completely control the hands of anyone that could ever provide me any kind of care, and completely strip them of any real wisdom and or compassion in how they deal with me. They want me to get treated like the furthest thing from family, even if I really shouldn't. They want me to get pushed away even when I should be drawn closer. They want me to feel like any tears I might shed, any prayers I might make, and any breath I might take are all utterly useless and futile and meaningless. no matter what happens, completely killing any love in my life by trying to completely distance me from my true authentic spirit and any possible higher power as well. They've recently done a prayer for courage, comfort, and calm for themselves, entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. They're trying to act like they've done me some kind of favor in doing so, but it's the furthest thing from it in reality. They're trying to act like it makes any real sense to believe I'd ever be open to letting it in my energy, as if I need to be guided by them. I do not expect it to lead to me crossing paths with the right person or people at the right time at all. I do not expect it to bring love or support into my life at all. They are trying to force me to sacrifice something I do not at all want to, never have, and never would, which they fully know that, and yet fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously, are trying to force on me anyways. 222, 1234, and 620 are significant to the energy. Not to me personally, though.